Have you ever stood up to do something simple like grab water, check your phone, or walk into another room and your cat followed right behind you? Most people see that and think it means one thing. My cat is clingy. My cat is obsessed. My cat just wants attention. But following you everywhere can mean much more than that. In some moments, your cat is tracking routine. In others, they may be staying close because your presence makes them feel safe. And sometimes, that quiet little shadow at your feet is your cat responding to something deeper that most owners never notice. Because not every kind of following means the same thing. And once you understand the difference, this behavior stops looking random. It starts looking personal. Not every cat follows you for the same reason, and that's where most people get this wrong. A relaxed follow, a silent follow, a vocal follow, and a sudden constant follow can all mean very different things depending on the timing, the body language, and what changed right before it started. Sometimes your cat is simply moving with the rhythm of the house. Sometimes they're checking where you are because your location matters to them. And sometimes they're trying to tell you something without making a sound. Once you understand that following stops looking like a habit, it starts looking like communication. Part 1. You're part of their routine. Cats are creatures of pattern far more than most people realize. They don't just live in your home, they learn the rhythm of it. The time you wake up, the way you walk, the places you sit, the small habits you repeat without even thinking. So when you stand up and move, that change matters. It signals that something in their environment is shifting, and your cat follows not necessarily because they need you in that moment, but because you are part of the pattern that organizes their world. To you, it can feel like attachment, like your cat can't leave you alone. But to your cat, they may simply be tracking the flow of their environment, and you are at the center of that flow. Your movement is information. It tells them where attention should go next. And in a world built on routine, following you may be the most natural response they have. Part 2. They feel safer near you. Even the most independent cats don't completely ignore where you are. In many cases, your cat follows you because your presence helps them feel more secure. It's not always about attention, it's about awareness. When you move from one room to another, your cat may follow simply to keep you within their environment, within a space they understand and trust. Because in their world, knowing where you are matters. Think about it this way. You are one of the most stable, predictable parts of their daily life. Your location, your movement, even your routine becomes a reference point. So when you disappear behind a door or move out of sight, your cat may feel a small break in that sense of certainty. Following you restores it, and that changes how the behavior looks. It's not just attachment, it's reassurance. Sometimes your cat follows you for the same reason a child checks where a parent is. Not because something is wrong, but because knowing you're nearby makes everything feel more stable. Part 3. You lead to comfort. You are more important in your cat's world than you probably think. You open doors, refill bowls, move blankets, create warm spots, and begin little routines that often lead to comfort. Over time, your cat learns that where you go, something useful may happen next. Maybe it's food, maybe it's a favorite room, maybe it's simply the chance that something interesting is about to change. So when your cat follows you, it may not be random affection at all. It may be smart prediction, and that doesn't make the behavior shallow. It actually makes it more revealing. Your cat has connected you with access, comfort, and reward. In their mind, staying close to you often means staying close to the next good thing. That's why following can happen even when they don't seem especially cuddly or needy. They are not always asking for attention. Sometimes they are following the source of possibility. In a quiet, practical way, your cat has learned that you are often the most meaningful path to comfort in the entire house. Part 4. They know something's different. Cats don't just follow movement, they follow change. The smallest shift in how you move, sound, or behave can catch their attention immediately. Maybe you're walking more slowly than usual. Maybe your voice is quieter, or your energy feels different after a long day. To you, it might feel normal. To your cat, it stands out. And when something stands out, they watch it more closely. That's why some days your cat seems to follow you more than others. Not because they suddenly became more attached, but because something about you has changed even in a subtle way. Cats are highly observant when it comes to patterns, and when that pattern breaks, they stay close to figure out what's going on. It's not always concern in the way humans think about it, but it is awareness. Your cat may not understand the reason behind the change, but they recognize that something is different, and following you becomes their way of monitoring that difference. What looks like simple behavior on the surface may actually be your cat quietly checking whether everything is still okay. Part 5. This is how they stay close. Not every cat asks for connection in an obvious way. Some don't meow, don't jump on you, don't demand attention directly. Instead, they follow, quietly, from room to room, staying just close enough to be part of your space without interrupting it. And for those cats, following is often their version of being with you. They may not want to be held. They may not even want to be touched in that moment, but they still choose to stay near, to move when you move, to sit where you sit, even if it's just a few feet away. That behavior isn't random and it isn't meaningless. It's a low-pressure way of maintaining connection. For some cats, this is how they bond, not through constant interaction, but through presence. So when your cat follows you without asking for anything, they may not be looking for attention at all. They may simply be choosing to be where you are. If your cat follows you everywhere and you're only now realizing it may mean more than you thought, take a moment to like and subscribe. The more you understand these small behaviors, the closer your connection with your cat becomes. Part 6. Sometimes it's a warning, but sometimes the meaning shifts, and this is the part most people overlook. If your cat suddenly starts following you more than usual, staying unusually close or refusing to leave your side, it may be worth paying attention to that change. Because when a behavior becomes more intense or more frequent, it often means something in their world has shifted. It doesn't always mean something serious, but it can signal stress, boredom, discomfort, or a need that isn't being met. Maybe the environment changed. Maybe their routine was disrupted. Maybe they're feeling unsettled and don't fully understand why. And in those moments, staying close to you becomes their way of coping with that uncertainty. Your presence can act as a point of stability when something feels off. So instead of seeing it as clingy or unusual behavior, it helps to step back and look at the pattern. When did it start? What changed around that time? Because sometimes your cat isn't just following you. They're trying to adjust to something they can't explain, and you happen to be the safest place they know to stay close to. The next time your cat follows you from room to room, don't be too quick to label it as clingy or strange. Look a little closer. Notice the timing, the body language, and what was happening right before they decided to stay near you. Because sometimes your cat is following routine. Sometimes they're following comfort. Sometimes they're checking on you, staying close because your presence helps their world feel more stable. And sometimes they're trying to tell you that something around them has changed in a way they don't fully understand. What looks like a simple habit may actually be one of the clearest forms of trust, awareness, and quiet communication your cat shows you every single day.